For decades, we've stared into the dark, searching for meaning, for origin, for proof that the cosmos isn't just an empty expanse of dust and silence. We built machines to reach beyond our limits, to peel back the curtains of creation. Voyager whispered into eternity. Hubble showed us the face of time. And now, the James Webb Space Telescope, our most advanced eye into the unknown, has seen something that shouldn't exist, something that might be alive. At first, astronomers thought it was a glitch, a flicker in the deep field, a faint shimmer at the edge of observable space. But it wasn't static. It was pulsing. Not randomly, not chaotically, but rhythmically. Like a heartbeat, like a signal. The name they gave it was simple: 3I/ATLAS, the third interstellar object ever detected passing through our solar system. But names mean little when what you're seeing defies everything you've ever known about reality. It didn't behave like a rock or a comet. It behaved like something was aware. When Webb locked its infrared sensors on 3I/ATLAS, the data came back wrong. The thermal signature wasn't reflective. It was self-generated. It wasn't absorbing heat from the sun. It was producing it from within. The pulse was consistent, repeating every 33 seconds. Not the random sublimation of ice, not the chaos of solar radiation. Something deep inside was creating power. It was alive with energy. For days, NASA scientists rechecked the data, convinced it was an error, but the numbers didn't lie. The temperature fluctuations followed an exact algorithmic rhythm, like a code. Then came the second discovery. Light spectrum readings revealed narrow energy bands, focused emissions. They weren't scattered like starlight. They were organized, targeted, the kind we use in communication systems, the kind that suggests intention, a transmission. At first, they thought it was an echo of our own signals, bouncing off the object, but the pattern was inverted. The frequencies didn't match any human broadcast. It wasn't mirroring us. It was speaking before we ever called. Teams at ESA and NASA fed the data through Fourier transforms, isolating harmonics from the background cosmic noise. That's when they found it. Beneath the static, buried in layers of interference, was structure, mathematical repetition that no natural process could produce. A pattern too precise to be random, a whisper written in chaos. Some thought it was a beacon. Others believed it was telemetry, information being transmitted somewhere else. But the most unnerving part wasn't what it said. It was that it never changed, not once. Over weeks of monitoring, the pulse remained constant, unfazed by cosmic radiation or gravitational shifts. It was steady, purposeful. It was alive, or pretending to be. Then, everything changed. On the 43rd day of observation, 3I/ATLAS brightened. Its luminosity spiked by nearly 40% in under 2 minutes. The thermal signature surged, spreading outward like a machine powering on. And then, its path shifted, by less than a degree, at first, but enough to be deliberate. The object was no longer obeying gravity. It was maneuvering. Its trajectory bent subtly toward the inner solar system, not straight to Earth, but close enough to be noticed. A precision so exact it couldn't be coincidence. Whatever was inside 3I/ATLAS was awake now, and it was moving with intent. Inside the Webb command room, the atmosphere changed from wonder to dread. What was once a rock became a presence. Using deep spectral decomposition algorithms, tools meant to detect organic molecules on exoplanets, researchers analyzed the light emissions again, and what they found broke the silence of the room. Embedded within the energy patterns were fluctuations eerily similar to biological resonance, frequencies that mimic cellular processes. Not DNA, not amino acids, but something deeper, oscillations that match the rhythm of living systems. The light coming from 3I/ATLAS wasn't just reflecting off metal or ice. It was modulating like tissue responding to stimuli. The data suggested one unthinkable conclusion. It might not just be a machine, it might be alive. For days, debates raged between physicists, biologists, and astronomers. Could electromagnetic patterns resemble life without being life? Could this be an elaborate natural coincidence? The answer came when Webb detected a sudden flattening of the signal. The pulses stopped. The thermal emissions fell silent. But the object didn't slow down. It continued its trajectory, smooth and deliberate, like an animal holding its breath. Was it hiding? Was it aware of being watched? One hypothesis emerged that sent chills through the community. What if it reacts to observation? What if every time an intelligent species tries to study it, it goes dormant? What if this is its defensive state? That would mean we weren't the first to find it. Then came the shock closer to home. Instruments in the South Atlantic anomaly, the weakest part of Earth's magnetic shield, began detecting ripples. Electromagnetic pulses are perfectly timed with 3I/ATLAS's thermal fluctuations. It was as if the object and our planet were in silent synchronization. Earth's magnetic field was reacting. No asteroid, no comet has ever done that from millions of miles away. The only explanation left, some form of resonance link, a connection. It wasn't just coming closer, it was already touching us. Independent scientists published their findings anonymously online. What if 3I/ATLAS wasn't built, but born? A conscious intelligence formed in plasma and magnetism rather than biology. Life as an electromagnetic pattern evolved not from DNA, but from stars themselves. If so, then this wasn't a probe, it was a being. A form of life that travels between galaxies, nesting inside interstellar debris, hibernating until someone notices it. And now we had noticed. Webb's gravitational measurements revealed something even stranger. Space around the object curved unnaturally. The gravitational lensing didn't match its estimated mass. Something was bending space-time more than it should, like an invisible engine manipulating gravity fields. Theories flooded in. Was it using gravity as propulsion? If so, we were witnessing technology or biology so advanced it blurred the line between both. Not a ship powered by engines, but an organism swimming through the fabric of space itself. Then, it happened. A fragment broke off from 3I/ATLAS's trailing edge. Small, silent, and perfectly geometric. Webb captured its shape. Smooth planes, 90-degree angles, crystalline symmetry. No natural object in the universe looks like that. It emitted no heat, no light, nothing. A perfect void. It absorbed everything. Scientists described it as a piece of shadow that forgot to disappear. Chemical analysis revealed alloys unknown to Earth, atomic structures beyond our periodic table. This wasn't random debris, it was manufactured or grown. The fragment behaved like a mirror with no reflection, a watcher that watches back. And it was moving independently, maintaining a fixed distance behind the main body, as if tethered by invisible control. At this point, global observatories aligned their telescopes. Monarch in Hawaii, ALMA in Chile, Keck in California, all locked onto 3I/ATLAS. And together, they noticed something astonishing. Its rotation wasn't random. It followed a pattern, timed to mathematical constants, ratios that matched pi, the golden mean, and prime numbers. It was as if the object was spinning in code, broadcasting a message through motion. Not language, but math. The only universal tongue. Some saw it as proof of intelligence, others as ritual, repetition, a cosmic mantra echoing through eternity. But what it was saying, no one knew. NASA's Deep Space Network attempted to respond. They sent sequences of prime numbers, binary pulses, even harmonic tones, a greeting written in logic and mathematics. For hours, there was silence. Then, exactly 1 hour after the final signal, 3I/ATLAS adjusted its spin rate by 0.003 degrees per second. Almost imperceptible, but deliberate. It had heard us. It chose not to answer. Scientists called this conscious non-communication, a tactic where silence becomes the loudest response. The implication was horrifying. 3I/ATLAS wasn't ignoring us. It was observing us, measuring our curiosity, testing how far we'd reach before breaking. Historical data began to resurface. Archived sky surveys from 1987, 1998, and 2013 showed faint anomalies in the same vector 3I/ATLAS now traveled. Small distortions ignored at the time. Each incident coincided with mysterious radio bursts and gravitational anomalies. It had been here before, watching, waiting. If the trajectory was cyclic, then 3I/ATLAS was looping through our system every few decades, monitoring planetary development, or evolution, ours. The object's updated course brought it near Jupiter's moon Europa, a world with a vast subsurface ocean beneath its ice. And beyond that, Saturn's moon Enceladus, another ocean world, both potential cradles of alien life. Maybe, scientists speculated, Earth was never its destination. Maybe it came for them, to seed them, to awaken something dormant beneath the ice. Because here's the terrifying possibility. What if this object isn't looking for life? What if it's planting it? Ancient myths spoke of gods descending from the heavens to create humanity. But what if those weren't myths? What if they were memories, echoes of previous encounters with entities like this one? Panspermia was redefined not as random scattering, but intelligent delivery. 3I/ATLAS could be a gardener of galaxies, sowing life, watching it grow, and returning to check its progress. And if that's true, then humanity isn't alone. We're part of its design. As it neared the inner solar system, magnetometers across Earth began picking up rhythmic oscillations, triplet pulses like a coded heartbeat echoing through space. They grew stronger, synchronized with Earth's own geomagnetic cycles, a cosmic handshake. It wasn't broadcasting, it was syncing, aligning with us. Communication specialists tried again to reply, sending longer data streams, mathematical art, digital music, even encoded human voices. But 3I/ATLAS remained silent, moving closer to Europa, almost as if acknowledging, then dismissing us. We were not the main point of interest. Then came the final revelation. Caltech researchers compared the spectral biosignatures detected in 3I/ATLAS's tail with Earth's genomic database. And hidden deep within the noise were sequences, not identical, but parallel. Structural echoes of viral RNA, ancient genetic motifs found in Earth's oldest life forms. The probability of random alignment was near zero. Something in 3I/ATLAS carried code compatible with life on Earth, maybe even the source of it. This wasn't alien biology, it was ancestral, the seed from which our own existence might have grown. We had found our parents, or our architect. The philosophical implications shattered boundaries between science and faith. If 3I/ATLAS had been here before, if it had released biological templates across worlds, then humanity might not be native. We could be part of a galactic experiment, a cycle of creation older than our planet itself. Webb's final readings showed flickering organic patterns near the object's rear tail, replicating structures, almost like spores, dormant yet reactive to light, a delivery system, a carrier of Genesis, and then silence. The object dimmed again. The thermal signature fell flat. The pulse stopped. Some said it went into hibernation. Others believed it completed its purpose. Its trajectory now curves beyond Mars, arcing toward Jupiter's gravity well. If calculations are correct, it will pass within Europa's orbit in months. After that, it might disappear again for years, decades, maybe centuries. What was it? A living organism, a sentient spacecraft, a messenger of life, or something beyond all those words, something that transcends biology, technology, and comprehension alike? One thing is certain, it was aware of us. It saw us see it, and it responded, not with words, but with silence, as if to remind us how small we are in the orchestra of the universe. As the world moves on, Webb's data remains open for analysis. But some details were quietly removed, encrypted, classified, locked away under designations the public will never read. Officially, 3I/ATLAS is just another interstellar comet, but inside scientific circles, it's referred to by another name, the listener, because that's what it did. It listened, I watched, and maybe, just maybe, it was judged. We wanted proof we weren't alone, and now we have it, but not in the way we expected. What if intelligence in the universe doesn't shout across the void, but watches silently from the dark? What if 3I/ATLAS isn't the first of its kind, but one of many, sent across eons to study, to plant, to remember? If so, then every comet, every asteroid, every fragment wandering through the black might be a vessel, and somewhere among the stars there could be others awakening, just as we've finally begun to notice. The James Webb Space Telescope has shown us that the universe isn't empty. It's alive, with purpose, with memory, and perhaps with intention. And when the universe reveals intent, it means one terrible, beautiful truth. We are part of something greater, something ancient, something that was here long before us and will remain long after. The only question left is this: if 3I/ATLAS has been watching us for centuries, what is it waiting for? Maybe it's waiting for us to grow up, or maybe it's waiting for permission to begin again. Because sometimes discovery isn't revelation, it's reckoning. And as we stare into the infinite dark, we now know the truth we were never ready for. The dark has been staring back all along. They say the universe doesn't keep secrets. It just waits for us to become smart enough to ask the right questions. But what if it's not waiting? What if it's watching, silently, patiently, to see what we do with what we've already been given? After the discovery of 3I/ATLAS, something changed. Not in the skies, but in us. The world didn't panic. It fell quiet. The chatter of science, politics, and faith collided into a single question that no one wanted to say out loud. What if this isn't the first time life has been delivered here? Ancient myths, scattered across continents, speak of messengers descending from the heavens, fiery chariots, shining discs, stars that gave birth to men. For centuries, we've dismissed them as allegories. But now, looking at the data, the alignments, the patterns, they start to sound less like fables and more like memory. Maybe those ancient witnesses weren't imagining gods. Maybe they were describing what they saw, fragments of something like 3I/ATLAS, breaking the skies long before history was written. Caltech's latest analysis took the Webb data further than anyone dared. They isolated repeating genomic harmonics in the biological residue trailing the object. These weren't just echoes of life, they were instructions, a kind of molecular blueprint that could, under the right conditions, trigger spontaneous assembly of prebiotic structures, self-organizing systems. In other words, life's architecture is encoded in light. The researchers called it photogenic RNA, a sequence that could form not through chemistry alone, but through resonance, vibration, and energy fields. Imagine a universe where life isn't born, it's tuned into existence. If that's true, then 3I/ATLAS isn't just carrying life, it's broadcasting it. Every pulse of light, every shift in magnetism could be a seed, an activation code meant for planets that have reached a certain maturity. It's possible Earth was once such a world, an empty stage awaiting its spark. And now, after billions of years, that spark has returned, not to ignite, but to measure what it created. Some scientists speculate that what we're witnessing isn't alien contact, it's a biological audit. The gardener returned to check the soil. 3I/ATLAS could be analyzing planetary atmospheres, electromagnetic signatures, even DNA frequencies radiating from the biosphere itself. We think of life as physical, chemical, biological, but what if the universe measures it through vibration, through the hum of existence? Every living thing emits electromagnetic frequency. Earth's collective resonance, known as the Schumann frequency, pulses like a planet-wide heartbeat. And lately, it's been changing, spiking, fluctuating, mirroring the same intervals Webb detected coming from 3I/ATLAS. Coincidence? Or communication on a level beyond comprehension? Hidden in the data is another layer. The rhythm of the pulses follows a Fibonacci progression, a mathematical pattern found in seashells, storms, galaxies, and even human DNA. If 3I/ATLAS is broadcasting Fibonacci-coded frequencies, it might be harmonizing with life itself, as if the entire biosphere is an instrument being returned. Some call it coincidence. Others whisper something darker. What if it's preparing us, not for contact, but for conversion? Across the world, high-frequency radio arrays have detected faint echoes in the 8.2 kHz range, the same frequency used in neural brainwaves. Scientists claim it's atmospheric interference, but those who have been listening know it isn't. The signals form wave clusters that pulse at intervals identical to 3I/ATLAS's rotational patterns. It's as if the object's field is interacting not just with Earth's magnetosphere, but with the neurological resonance of life itself. If consciousness is electromagnetic, and it is, then perhaps the being inside 3I/ATLAS isn't separate from us. Perhaps it's already touching us, shaping us, syncing us. A radical new paper, quietly withdrawn before publication, suggested that this could be an activation event. The researchers proposed that the resonance isn't random but a trigger, a way of waking dormant genetic information buried deep within our own DNA. They called it the recall, a hypothesis so extreme that even mentioning it cost several careers. But their math was solid. If certain frequencies can activate or deactivate gene expression, then an external field, like the one emanating from 3I/ATLAS, could alter life on a planetary scale, not through invasion, but through evolution. And here's where the fear turns into something existential. What if the object isn't here to harm us, but to awaken us, to push life into its next stage? Maybe this is how the universe grows intelligence, not through chance, but through contact. Not invasion, but invitation. We always imagined first contact as ships and signals, but maybe it's silence. Maybe it's the quiet shift within us as our cells begin to remember something older than humanity itself. Meanwhile, new readings show the object is decelerating, not by external force, but by intent. Its energy output is stabilizing near the range expected for atmospheric entry, not into Earth's, but Europa's. NASA's internal models predict it will pass within 1,000 kilometers of the moon's surface. If it releases anything there, biological or energetic, it could seep into the subsurface ocean below the ice, an ocean that's been frozen for millions of years. Imagine life awakening there, not by accident, but by design. Humanity may be witnessing the birth of another biosphere, one seeded by the same intelligence that once touched ours. And maybe that's the point. 3. I/ATLAS might not belong to us, or even care about us. We are just one of many gardens in its endless voyage through the stars. Life, to it, might be nothing more than an art form, a pattern it paints on the canvas of worlds. We are one brushstroke among billions, and now, as it moves beyond our reach once more, we're left with the realization that our story might have never been our own. We were written long ago by hands or forces we'll never see. The last transmission from Webb, before the object slipped beyond its visual capacity, captured a flicker. 3 pulses of light, evenly spaced, perfectly timed. Astronomers called it noise. But to those who've been watching since the beginning, it felt like something else. A signature. A final message from the darkness saying, we're still here. Not a warning, not a threat, but a reminder that in the vast silence of space, something listens, something watches, and maybe, just maybe, something waits for us to understand.